The night was quiet and cold as the small town of Ridgefield slept under a sky full of stars, far from the city noise and bright lights. Everything seemed peaceful and still, but something strange was coming from above, something no one could explain. A soft blue light moved slowly through the sky, almost like it was searching for something. It made no sound, not even a whisper in the wind. No birds flew, no dogs barked. No one noticed except two people. A young man named Ryan walked home after a long shift at the gas station. He was tired, his backpack heavy, and his eyes half closed. He looked up just for a second and saw the light. It hovered above the trees, pulsing like a heartbeat. He stopped frozen, not sure if he was dreaming. He reached for his phone, but the screen was black. No signal, no power, just silence on the other side of town. A woman named Emma was leaving the library. She loved late-night reading and often stayed until closing time. She was walking alone on the empty road when the same light appeared above her. At first she thought it was a drone, maybe a new kind of street lamp, but it moved in a way that felt alive. It circled slowly and then dropped lower, almost touching the ground. Emma stepped back, heart pounding, her breath shaking. She turned to run, but her legs felt heavy, like she was sinking in water. In the sky, the light grew brighter. In an instant, both Ryan and Emma were lifted from the ground. Their bodies floated upward, arms and legs limp like dolls. They wanted to scream, but no sound came from their mouths. The light swallowed them and then vanished into the stars. Silence returned to Ridgefield, as if nothing had happened. No one saw them go, no one heard a thing. The night moved on like always. Ryan woke up in a place that made no sense. Everything around him was white and smooth. There were no walls, no corners, no doors. The floor glowed faintly under his feet, and the air was thick like fog. He stood up slowly, his body weak, his head spinning. He called out, but his voice echoed back alone. Emma opened her eyes in a similar place. She felt cold and confused. Her hands touched the strange surface below her. She too stood up, looking for a way out, but there was nothing. No shadows, no windows. No signs of life. She felt a soft hum in the air, like a machine was running nearby. It was not loud, but it was constant and unnatural. Suddenly, a voice filled the space. It was deep, calm, and without emotion. "You are safe," the voice said. "You have been chosen." Emma looked around, eyes wide, trying to find the source. "Who's there?" she shouted. "What do you want?" Ryan heard the same voice in his room. He stepped back, heart racing. "Where am I?" he asked. "What is this place?" The voice did not answer directly. Instead it repeated, "You have been chosen. You are needed. Please remain calm." The light in the room changed slowly from white to pale blue. Ryan noticed the floor now showed symbols, or maybe words, but not in any language he knew. They shifted and moved like they were alive. Emma walked to the center of her room and reached out to touch the glowing wall. As her fingers touched the surface, it turned clear like glass. Behind the wall, she saw something move. A tall figure stood in the shadows, its eyes glowing with soft silver light. Its skin was smooth and gray, with thin lines of light running through it like veins. It did not speak, it only watched. Emma stepped back, shocked, breathing fast. The wall turned white again, hiding the figure. She felt fear like she had never felt before. Ryan too saw a shape behind the wall. It leaned closer to the glass, slowly studying him like a scientist watching an insect. He felt small, trapped, and powerless. Then both rooms went dark for a few seconds. When the light returned, a new voice spoke. "Your world is full. Ours is empty. You will help us survive." Neither Ryan nor Emma could speak. Their thoughts were spinning, their minds full of questions. What did it mean? Why them? Where were they? And most of all, would they ever go home again? The rooms grew quiet once more. No sound, no voice. Just the endless hum of something not human above them in space, far beyond what any satellite could see. A ship floated like a ghost, hidden from the eyes of the world. Inside it, something ancient and desperate had begun. And Earth had no idea what was coming. The silence was deep, like the bottom of an ocean, with no light and no sound, only the low hum that never stopped. Ryan sat on the smooth floor of the strange, glowing room, staring at nothing, trying to understand where he was and how he got there. His hands shook, not from cold, but from fear, a fear that grew bigger with each passing second. He stood up again, walked the room's edge over and over, hoping for a door or a crack or something that felt normal, but it was just the same glowing wall all around. He called out, but only his own voice came back soft and weak, like it was tired too. Emma was in another room. Almost the same, but smaller, the same white glow, the same fog in the air. She stood still, listening. She thought she heard someone far away, maybe a voice, maybe just her mind playing tricks. She took a deep breath and shouted again, louder this time. "Hello, is someone there?" Her voice echoed and faded into silence. She walked to the center and stared at the ceiling, which seemed to have no end, like a sky trapped inside a box. Suddenly the air shifted, the floor pulsed like it was alive, and the walls shimmered like water. Then came the voice again, the same deep sound from nowhere. "You are safe, you are chosen, you are hope." Ryan looked up, his heart beating fast. "What do you want?" he asked. "Where am I?" There was no answer, just the voice repeating, "You are chosen, remain calm." A part of the wall in Ryan's room turned clear like glass, and behind it something moved. It was tall, with thin arms and long fingers, its head large, and its eyes silver and calm. The creature looked at him without speaking. Its skin was smooth and dark gray, and glowing lines moved across its body, slowly, like rivers of light. Ryan froze, his breath caught in his throat. He had never seen anything like it, not in dreams, not in stories, not in movies. In Emma's room the same thing happened. The wall turned to glass, and the alien stood behind it watching her. But this one seemed different, smaller, maybe younger. It tilted its head as if studying her, not like a threat, but like a puzzle. Emma stepped back, her hands shaking. "What are you?" she whispered. "Why?" "Me." No answer came, only the same look, the same silence. The walls turned white again, hiding the creatures. Then a new voice came, louder, deeper, more powerful. "You are part of the plan. Your world is strong. Our world is dying. We have no time." Ryan sat down, holding his head. He tried to remember what happened before the light, but his thoughts were broken, like a mirror dropped on the floor. Flashes of his town, his job, his house, his dog. But now all of that felt like another life, a dream too far to touch. Emma sat down, two knees pulled to her chest. She remembered her mother calling her in the morning, the book she borrowed from the library, the cold air on her skin. She closed her eyes and whispered, "This isn't real. This can't be real." But the air hummed and the lights glowed, and nothing changed. Then something new happened. The walls began to move, sliding apart slowly. Both Ryan and stood up, ready to run, but there was nowhere to go. Instead, a doorway appeared, a glowing path leading into the next room. The voice came again. "Come forward. We mean no harm. We ask only for time." They both stepped forward, unsure, scared, but with no choice. The next room was darker, with a high ceiling and lights above like stars. In the center stood a tall alien, the leader. Maybe its presence filled the space like cold wind. It looked at them and then spoke clearly. "Our kind cannot create life anymore. Our species is ending. Your kind is strong. Your kind can survive. We need your help to begin again." Ryan felt his stomach twist. "Are you saying you want to use us to make more of you?" The alien nodded slowly. "Together we can create new life. You will be remembered as the saviors of a world." Emma stared at the floor. "And if we say no?" Alien paused. "Then we return to silence. No future, no voice, no us." The silence grew heavy. No more words, no more sounds. Only two humans alone with a dying alien race asking for life. Ryan looked at Emma. She looked back. They didn't speak, but something passed between them, a shared fear, a shared thought. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. Alien stepped back and the floor opened below them. Not falling, not flying, but sinking slowly into another level. Below was something bright, something warm, but also something waiting. The prison of glass was no longer a prison, it was now a gate. And what waited on the other side would change everything they knew forever. The floor beneath Ryan and Emma stopped glowing as they reached the lower chamber, a place deeper, colder, quieter. Their feet touched a smooth black surface that felt alive, like a heartbeat, just under the skin. Above them lights circled like stars. in motion creating shadows that danced along the walls. They were no longer in separate rooms. Now they stood together, face to face for the first time since their abduction. For a long moment they just stared. No one spoke. Only the hum of the ship filled the silence. Emma stepped closer and looked around, her voice barely a whisper. "Is this real?" Ryan nodded slowly, unsure of anything, but needing to believe something. They turned their heads as the same tall alien from before entered the room, its glowing veins pulsing softly with each step. It raised one hand and the air shimmered. A screen appeared in front of them, floating like magic. Images moved across the screen, fast and silent. A planet broken in pieces, cities, empty skies full of ash, oceans dried into cracks of salt. It was the alien's world, and it was dying. The alien spoke with no emotion. "Our species has reached its end. We lost the ability to reproduce generations ago. Our science failed, our time ran out. We searched the stars for a solution. We found your kind, you are compatible." Ryan stared at the screen, and then at the alien. "Compatible with what?" The alien responded, "With us. Together we can begin again. Together we can survive." Emma felt the floor sway under her feet. As if the weight of the truth was too much, she took a step back and shook her head. "You took us without asking. You brought us here like animals. Now you want us to help you. Why should we?" The alien paused, and then moved to the center of the room. It raised both hands and the lights dimmed. A new image appeared, this time a group of small alien children running through a garden under two suns, laughing, playing, glowing with life. The alien voice softened for the first time. "This is what we lost. This is what we dreamed to bring back. We ask not with power, we ask with hope." Ryan looked at the children, and then back at the tall alien. "And what happens to us after? Do we go back? Do we get to live our lives, or are we just part of your experiment?" "No." Answer came only silence. Emma crossed her arms, her voice cold. "You said together, but this feels one-sided. We lose everything. You gain a future. What do we get? What do our families get? Do they even know we are gone?" The alien turned, and the lights returned. "You ask what you gain. You gain legacy. Your names will be written in the new beginning. You will be remembered as the seed of our survival. Your memory will never fade." Ryan looked at Emma again, his face full of doubt. "This isn't right. We didn't agree to this. This isn't how life works." Suddenly, a low alarm echoed through the room. A different voice filled the chamber, sharp and cold. "Subject 1, mental resistance rising. Subject 2, emotional instability detected. Recommend memory dampening and hormonal balance correction." The tall alien raised a hand and the alarm stopped. It turned to the air, as if speaking to something invisible. No, they must choose. Real choice, real trust. Emma felt a wave of fear and confusion. What was memory dampening? What was hormonal correction? What were they planning next? The screen changed again. Now it showed files with strange symbols and moving charts. Ryan tried to read them, but the language made no sense. One chart had human DN, another showed a process like cloning, another showed a list of names, many names, all marked with the same word in red. Failed. Ryan felt sick. These were not the first humans. There were others, and they did not survive. He turned to Emma. "We have to get out. We have to stop this." Nodded, her face pale, her hands shaking. "But how? Where do we go? We don't even know where we are." Alien stepped closer. "Escape is not possible, but understanding is. Listen, you were not taken to be tools. You were brought because you are strong. You are different. You are the last chance." The lights dimmed again and the room began to shift. Walls moved and melted away, revealing a large window into space. Outside, stars glowed like fireflies in the dark, and far below, a dead planet turned slowly. In silence, cracked lands, black skies, no sign of life, only ruin. The alien voice echoed once more. "This was our failure, but with you we can begin again." Ryan clenched his fists. Emma closed her eyes, and somewhere deep inside the ship, something else awakened, something not part of the plan. Something watching, waiting. Asterisk. The stars outside the ship blinked. Slowly, like eyes half asleep, watching from far away, never blinking fully, never leaving. Emma stared through the massive window, her mind racing, her heart pounding, her breath caught between panic and disbelief. Ryan stood beside her, silent hands, clenched eyes, scanning every detail of the room as if searching for cracks in this prison of glass and light. Behind them, the alien stepped back into the shadows, leaving them alone again, leaving the air thick with silence and questions that had no answers. They waited minutes or maybe hours. Time did not feel real here. No clocks, no sun, no sleep, just light, just hum, just questions. Finally spoke, his voice low. "I do not trust them." Emma nodded, still looking at the stars. "Me neither. They want something they are not telling us. They say hope, but I see control." They walked back to the center of the room as the floor pulsed softly under their feet, like a sleeping heartbeat, gentle, but always there. Ryan looked at the wall where the screen had appeared earlier. He touched it with his palm. It flickered for a moment and then stayed dark. He knocked lightly, nothing, but when he pressed harder, a soft vibration came from inside the wall, and something shifted. Emma noticed the change. She stepped beside him. "What did you do?" "I think there is something here. Not just a wall." They began feeling along the smooth surface carefully, slowly, trying not to make noise, though they knew the ship was always listening. Ryan's fingers caught on a small line, almost invisible, but it was real. He pressed and the panel clicked open. Just a little inside were wires and lights and strange symbols moving like liquid. It was a control panel not meant for them, but now it was their only hope. Emma leaned in, eyes wide. "Can you understand it?" "No. But maybe we can learn. We do not need to control the ship. We just need to open a door." Before they could go further, the wall behind them turned to glass again. This time a new figure stood watching. Not tall, not silent. It stepped forward and placed one hand on the glass. Then its voice entered the room, soft and unsure. "Do not be afraid, I am not like them." Emma turned. "Who are you?" The figure looked left and right as if checking for something, then leaned closer. "I am a child of the old ones, born in secret, taught to think freely. I do not want this." Ryan stepped forward. "Then help us. Tell us how to get out." The alien's silver eyes blinked slowly. "It is not easy, but maybe possible. The others do not trust you. They never did. You were never meant to return. You were part of an experiment, and they are afraid of what you might become." Emma felt cold all over. She knew it. The truth had always been there, hidden under soft words and glowing lights. She clenched her fists. "Then we need to escape now." Young alien nodded. "There is one way, but only when the ship sleeps every cycle it powers down for 17 seconds. Just 17. That is your window." Ryan looked back at the open panel. "Can we shut the door behind us?" The alien hesitated. "Maybe. But if you are caught, they will erase your memory. Your mind will be broken, and you will forget everything." Emma stepped closer to the glass. "Why are you helping us?" The alien looked down. "Because I believe you deserve choice, not cages." The wall turned solid again, and the figure vanished. Ryan and Emma looked at each other. "This is our only chance." 17 seconds, not much, but enough. The floor began to glow brighter as footsteps echoed from the hall beyond. The main alien was coming. They quickly closed the panel and sat down as if nothing happened. The tall figure entered, its eyes glowing like fire under ice. "You have questions, I understand. You are not prisoners. You are partners." Emma smiled weakly. "What happens now?" The alien looked at the stars. "We begin phase 1. Your bodies will be scanned, your blood studied. You will feel no pain, only progress." Ryan nodded slowly, hiding the storm inside him. They had to wait. They had to be smart later. They were led to another room, smaller, colder, filled with soft lights and floating shapes. Machines scanned them. Tiny lights danced across their skin. Emma closed her eyes and imagined home trees, books, laughter. Ryan stared at the ceiling and counted every breath, every second, every spark. When they were returned to their room, they waited again. Hours passed. The hum grew softer. Then it happened. Everything paused. The lights flickered once. The air held still, and the ship slept. 17 seconds. Ryan leapt to the panel. Emma pulled the wires. A light turned green. The wall to their left cracked open, revealing a dark hallway. They ran into the unknown, and behind them, the hum began again. 17 seconds. Enough to begin something dangerous, enough to risk everything. The hallway was narrow and cold, with walls that shimmered like frozen smoke, and a floor that pulsed under every step like something breathing beneath their feet. Ryan ran first, his hand against the wall, searching for turns, for doors, for anything that looked like escape. Emma followed close behind, her heart thumping in rhythm with the strange hum that now chased them like footsteps made of sound. They did not know where they were going, only that they could not stop. They had 17 seconds. And now it was less than that. The ship groaned as if waking from a dream. Lights flickered above them, turning from soft white to harsh blue. Alarms did not sound, but something deeper, something colder changed in the air. Emma turned a corner and stopped. A doorway stood in front of them, open and dark. Ryan joined her, and they stepped inside without thinking. The door closed behind them with a whisper. The room was round and full of floating symbols and glowing panels. In the center, a column of light rose from the floor to the ceiling, filled with swirling data and strange alien text that moved like wind through water. It felt sacred, like a place no one was meant to enter. Ryan approached the light and reached out. His fingers touched the energy, and it welcomed him. Images exploded in the air all around them. Files, charts, videos, names, faces. Emma stepped closer, eyes wide, hands shaking. She pointed at a screen that showed two humans, a man and a woman just like them. Not them, others before them. File blinked red and then opened. Experiment 112, subjects unresponsive. System failure after 36 hours, memory collapse. Emotional breakdown disposed. Ryan felt cold creep up his spine. He swiped left and more files appeared, each one a different number. Each one ending the same way, failure, collapse, disposed. Emma's voice cracked as she read the names. These were people, real people. All taken, all used, all gone. She found one that showed a different ending, not disposed, escaped, unknown. Ryan opened the file. It showed a woman running through a corridor, almost like theirs. She looked afraid, she looked strong. Then the screen cut to black. Ryan turned to Emma. We were never special. We were just the next number. Emma nodded, her eyes glassy with tears. That would not fall. All that talk about hope, about saving their kind. It was a lie. Ryan shook his head. No, not a lie. Just not the whole truth. Another screen opened on its own. This time it showed a room filled with alien leaders. They stood around a table showing Earth, marking locations. Planning something, a voice played back. We begin with few, test for strength, test for loyalty. Once balance is found, we take more. The planet will not resist if the plan is slow. Emma stepped back, hand over her mouth. This is not just about saving their world. They want ours. Ryan clenched his fists. They lied to us. They called us partners. But we are just resources. The young alien who helped them step through a hidden door, its eyes full of sorrow. You were not meant to see this, but now you know. I told you. You were never going back. Emma looked at it with anger and pain. Why show us anything? Why help us? The alien lowered its head. Because I was born different. Because I feel what they do not. Because I remember the first human they brought here. She was kind. She smiled at me before they erased her. Ryan stepped forward. Then help us for real. Not with words, with truth. With a way out. The alien looked up. There is no way out, but there is a way to send a message. Emma's eyes lit up to Earth. Yes, they must know before it is too late. The alien touched the column of light. The room began to spin slowly. Data flew across the walls faster and faster. It opened a window. A channel. Earth appeared. Satellite, a signal path. You have 1 minute, one message. Then it will close forever. Emma looked at Ryan. He nodded. She stepped forward, took a breath, and spoke. If anyone hears this, we were taken by something not from Earth. They are using us, lying to US. They say they want to live, but they plan to take more. This ship holds records of others like us. Some are gone. Some were erased. If you get this, do not ignore it. Tell the world. Watch the skies. The message sent. The signal blinked out. The alien turned to them. Now you must hide. They will come soon, and they will not be kind. Ryan grabbed Emma's hand. Where can we go? The alien opened a new door. Down to the lower decks where the old systems sleep, where they cannot see. They ran through the door as lights above turned red. Footsteps echoed again, louder, faster behind them. The room sealed, and the secret truth waited in silence. Buried in light, burning in data, ready for anyone brave enough to listen. The lower decks were nothing like the glowing halls above, dark, narrow, and cold. They smelled of dust and silence, and something older than machines. Pipes ran along the walls, dripping steam that hissed softly like whispers, warning them to turn back. Ryan held Emma's hand tight as they moved through the darkness with only the soft glow of the young alien's skin to guide them. "This place is forgotten," the alien said. "Built by the first ones before the new command took over. They never come here. They fear what sleeps in the metal." Emma looked around, her voice low. "What sleeps here?" The alien paused. "Truth." They entered a round chamber where ancient machines stood like statues wrapped in wires and dust. In the center, a control core pulsed weakly, covered in old symbols and dim screens. Ryan stepped forward, brushing off the dust and placing his hand on the panel. It came to life slowly, like something waking from a long, deep dream. Emma watched as images flickered across the old screen. Maps, power grids, doors, all parts of the ship linked to this forgotten heart. She turned to the alien. "Can this shut down the ship?" The alien shook its head. "Not fully, but enough to blind them, to freeze their orders, to make space for action." Ryan's eyes lit up. "Then let's do it. Let's break their control." He moved through the menus, guided by instinct and luck. He found security nodes, voice command chains, memory backup centers. Emma helped trace the paths across the map. They saw where the others had been held, where they had been erased. Room after room of silence and false hope. "We have to set them free," Ryan said. "Even if they are gone, their truth needs light." The alien touched another panel, and the room shook softly. A signal began to rise from the core, a wave of old code spreading upward through the ship. For the first time in years, the upper system stuttered. The hum that had ruled the halls skipped like a broken song above. The leaders noticed. Alarms triggered silently, lights blinked and screens cracked. The main alien stepped into the control chamber. "Something is wrong. Check the memories. Check the subjects." Soldiers moved quickly through the glowing halls, but the doors did not open. Commands were delayed, and for 17 seconds longer than usual. The ship did not listen. Ryan and Emma watched from the lower screen as confusion spread. The core had reached their nerves, and it was only the beginning. Young alien opened a side door leading to a tunnel filled with power lines. "We must go now. They will trace this signal." Soon they ran through the tunnel, chased by echoing static and flickering lights. At the end was a door thicker than the others. Behind it was a chamber full of pods. Emma gasped. Each pod held a person, some sleeping, some awake but unmoving, eyes open. But lifeless, failed subjects, the alien whispered. They were never returned, never freed. Ryan moved quickly, opening files on the panel beside the pods. He found ways to unlock them. He pressed the code. Nothing. He tried again. Lights turned red. Emma pointed. "Try the old command, the one from the lower core." He entered the symbols. The pods hissed open slowly. Cold air spilled out as the humans inside stirred one by one. They opened their eyes, weak, confused, but alive. Emma spoke gently. "You are safe. You were taken, but now you are free." The alien stepped back. This is what they feared, the return of the forgotten. The ship roared above them. The main control had noticed new orders spread through the halls. Erase contained silent soldiers descended through the central lifts, but the lower deck shifted. The core changed the paths, walls moved, doors vanished. Ship was turning against its own creators. Ryan turned to the group. "We fight now, not with weapons, but with truth." Led them back through the tunnels. Emma followed, guiding the weak. The alien stayed behind, locking paths and sending false signals to confuse the guards. At the central chamber, they reached the communication tower. It stood like a spire of light reaching through the roof of the ship to the stars. Ryan climbed the platform. He connected the final code. The signal beam began to rise. Emma helped steady the humans below. She looked up at Ryan and smiled. They had done something impossible. They had broken the pattern, but it was not over. The floor shook as the main alien arrived in the chamber, its body glowing with anger, its eyes dark like storms. You were given purpose, it said, and you betrayed it. Ryan stood firm. You called it purpose, we call it slavery. The alien raised a hand, but the tower fired its beam, a message sent to Earth, to space, to anyone listening. The truth was out. Revolt had begun and nothing could stop it now. The beam of light tore through the ceiling like a sword made of truth, reaching the stars above and sending the stolen message into the dark sky. It pulsed with data, with voices, with pain and memory and warning for the first time in many cycles. The ship felt something it was not designed to feel: fear. Ryan stood at the edge of the tower, his hands shaking, not from fear, but from fire. He looked down and saw the humans gathered below, no longer just victims, now a movement, now a voice. Emma stood with them, her eyes locked on his, as if saying, we are still here, and we are still fighting. The main alien stared at the signal with cold fury, its body flickering with raw energy as the tower's light passed through it. You were meant to save. US, it said, you were chosen to build, not to destroy. Ryan stepped down slowly, meeting its eyes with no fear. We were never yours to choose. We choose ourselves round. Then the ship groaned and shifted as systems fought each other, old code and new commands battling deep within the walls. The lights flickered, blue to red to black. One by one, the doors opened. Every door, every lock. Emma looked at the young alien who had helped them. Now what? The alien paused, as if listening to something older. Then sound. Now you go home, or you try. The group moved quickly through the open paths, guided by flickering lights and half-working signs. Some humans were weak, barely walking. Others helped carry them forward. The air was getting colder, not from space, but from the ship dying from the inside. They reached a chamber with round pods lined along the walls. The alien walked to a console and activated the system. These are escape vessels, it said. They are slow, but they can reach orbit and Earth signal range. Emma looked at the pods. How many work? The alien hesitated. 2, maybe 3. They were never used. They were forgotten. Like me. Ryan helped the others into place. 2 humans per pod was the limit. The others would have to wait and hope the system restarted. He turned to Emma. You go. I will stay and help the rest. Emma shook her head. We go together or not at all. The alien moved to another panel and began bypassing damaged systems. One more pod lit up, enough for 6. Now the main alien entered the room, its steps silent, its eyes dim. It looked not angry, but tired. You do not understand what you are throwing away. You do not know what we lost. Ryan faced it. Then tell us everything. The alien lowered its head. We were not always this way. Once we lived with others. We shared light and life and balance. But we grew hungry for control. We broke our world with fear and pride. Now we are alone, and you are what we wanted to be again. Emma walked toward it slowly. Then stop this. Help us. Help you. Not with lies, with truth. The alien stepped back as if the words struck deeper than any weapon. Behind it, the ship shook again. Fire sparked from the ceiling. The young alien spoke. There is no time. The ship will collapse soon. You must launch. Ryan helped the last person into the pod. He and Emma climbed in as the dome closed around them. The view showed the stars and the burning ship. The pod trembled, then lifted from the floor. Through the small window, they saw the other pod rise beside them. The stars grew clearer. The blackness grew closer inside the pod. A small screen lit up. Earth signal detected. Route locked. Emma reached for Ryan's hand. Are we going home? Ryan looked at the stars. I think we are going somewhere new. The ship behind them cracked open. A silent explosion of light and dust and memory. The signal tower collapsed last, its light still flickering, as if refusing to fade. Far below on Earth, a satellite blinked awake. A signal arrived, strange, broken, but human. A warning. A call. Governments watched, scientists listened. And somewhere in a small town, 2 families heard their children's names across a frequency that should not exist back in space. The pod entered sleep mode. Ryan and Emma closed their eyes, their bodies light, their minds still full of what they had seen. But something pulsed under their skin, a mark, a symbol left by the ship, small and glowing like a whisper from something not yet done. Emma touched the light. What is it? Ryan shook his head slowly. I do not know, but I think we brought something back with us. The pod floated toward the blue planet, growing larger and warmer with every mile Earth waited, but it would never be the same.